Welcome to Movement and Function. Today's video is going to cover hamstring strains and the best ways to decrease pain and recover your function. So first of all, if your hamstring strain is fairly recent, say within the last week or so, and you still have significant redness, swelling, or warmth in your hamstring, this muscle here, then pause this video and check out my video on RICE, which stands for rest, ice, compression, and elevation. That's the best video for an acute injury to help decrease the inflammation. Once the redness, warmth, and swelling has decreased, then come back to this video and we'll get going on rehab. First thing, I'm going to show you 3 ways to gently stretch your hamstring without further aggravating the injury. These stretches will help the muscle heal and get it back to functioning properly. The first method is a simple forward bend. This is something you can do anywhere, any time of the day. So standing, simply stretch your heel out in front of you on the ground and tip forward at the hips, not at the waist. So you're extending your hip backwards and hinging right through the front of the hip. Bend down just as far as you need to go to feel a gentle stretch in the back of the hamstring. Hold this position for 5 all the way up to 30 seconds, depending on what feels comfortable for you. At this point in recovery, we don't want a deep, intense stretch. We just want a gentle enough stretch to help the tissues heal without forming scar tissue. After 5 to 30 seconds, return to the standing position, rest a moment, and repeat. Do that 3 times. You could try increasing the duration of the stretch just by a little bit each time you do this. You'll find with repetition that your muscle will allow a little bit more of a stretch each time. Again, keep it gentle. Don't push into it too far. Okay, and come back up. The second method requires a step or a stool. I'm going to demonstrate this using my yoga ball, but I recommend using something more stable at home. Okay, you'll bring your heel up onto the step or the stool. Standing with tall posture, make sure you maintain a little bit of arch in your low back, and bend forward at the hip. Again, hinging through the hip, not bending at the waist. For me, this is as far as I need to go to feel a gentle pull in the hamstring. Now, I could reach my toes, but this further motion is all coming from my lumbar spine, not from my hamstring. So it's not helpful to perform that extra amount of stretch right now. We're focusing on the hamstring. Again, hold for 5 to 30 seconds, as long as it feels comfortable for you. And it should feel like just a gentle pulling sensation, not a deep, intense stretch. And then lower your foot, kind of shake that out a little bit, and repeat that stretch 3 times. Okay, and then rest. All right, the last stretch technique is lying on your back using a resistance band or a towel or a strap. So you'll wrap the band around the ball of your foot. All right, extend that leg out. Your other leg can be either bent or straight. When it's bent, it's a little more comfortable for your lumbar spine. When it's straight, you get a more intense stretch through your hamstring. So see what feels better for you. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave my leg bent. All right, so we'll lower the leg. Start with your leg fully extended, put some tension on the band, and then lift up just as far as you need to go to start to feel a gentle stretch through the hamstring. Hold for 5 to 30 seconds and then lower again. Perform 3 repetitions of the stretch lying down. Moving on from the stretches, I'm going to show you a couple ways to gently activate the hamstring muscle to restore the normal contraction and relaxation in the muscle. Don't add any resistance to these exercises quite yet. Just the weight of your leg will be plenty enough resistance to begin activating the muscle safely without aggravating the muscle strain. All right, the first one is a hamstring curl. You can do this standing or lying down on your stomach, so I'll show you standing up. Standing with tall posture, engage your lower abdominals, pulling your belly button in toward your spine, and tighten your glutes. Now, bend the knee on the side that's been affected, bringing your heel up toward your butt. Pause there and lower. Don't hold your heel up in this position for too long because it could give you a hamstring cramp. So this should be nice, smooth, even motion. Bending up, pause, and lower. Perform 20 repetitions and then rest. I recommend starting with 1 set a day. As you feel more and more comfortable, as your strength starts to return and your pain continues to decrease, add a 2nd set and then a 3rd set. Feel it out, see what feels right for your body, and progress accordingly. The second muscle activation technique is a long arc quad combined with a hamstring curl. Ideally, find a place where you can sit that's slightly elevated and where there's room underneath you. A tall bar stool or something like that would work well for this. Okay, first start by engaging your quad on the top of the thigh and extend your leg out. Pause there and then slowly lower and curl your leg underneath you as far back as you can go. Pause there and continue alternating the leg extension with the hamstring curl. Perform 20 repetitions or as many as you can do and then rest. Start with one set and add in a second and a third set as your strength improves, as your pain continues to decline, and you feel that your body is ready to handle the additional repetitions. I suggest starting the stretches and activation techniques once a day. If that feels easy for you, consider adding a second time of day and add a second or third set of each exercise. Feel free to modify this day by day and see what works out best for you. I hope that these stretches and activation techniques help decrease your pain and restore the normal function in your hamstring so that you can get back to doing the things that you love to do every single day. You might also benefit from some of my other videos, so please check out my video links and see if some of the other topics could be helpful for you. Here's to your healing, health, and happiness. Have a wonderful day.